Hey everybody, Heidi Harris here. How you doing? As many of you know, you should know, I'm based in Las Vegas, and one of the craziest things we have going on right now is the F1, the Formula One. People have all kinds of names they call it now because of the damage it's done to the community. Now, you may be excited about it. You may think, oh, it's great to have all these cars going around the strip, and what a cool thing. Well, the problem is it's not so cool if you, first of all, it doesn't make anywhere near the money they thought it would. There's a shock. Secondly, it's just destroying some businesses because it's months and months and months of construction for the last couple of years. Lisa Mayo is a woman who represents some of these business owners who've been drastically affected by Formula One, and she is here to talk about it today. How are you, my friend?
Heidi, I'm great. I'm so great. Thank you so much for having me on the show. This is a really important issue, especially this week. Starting today, it's heading into race week where even more things will be shut down. So thank you for having us on the show to share the story.
Yeah, it's important because most locals are not going anywhere near the strip right now and have it for months if they don't absolutely have to because of all the chaos created, which hurts business owners months far longer, obviously months previous to the race. Right. And that's already damaging them. Then during the race, nobody can get around. Talk a little bit about the damage that's being done to local business owners while the fancy people get good tickets and don't really care.
Okay. Well, what happened in 2023, the race was held. And of course, nobody was ready for the intrusion and the inconvenience and the impacts on the community. In 2023, they actually closed down the strip for 9 months. They resurfaced the track and they shut down the strip. And I think your listeners should understand that the Las Vegas Strip is 3.2 miles or, a mile of, it's top entertainment, we're sports and entertainment capital of the world, but we are a pedestrian vehicle environment. When you come to Las Vegas, you can walk from place to place, you can Uber. We don't have subways. We don't have modes of public transportation that don't include being on the Las Vegas Strip. So in 2023, people shut down, and none of the businesses, nobody really expected the fallout of lost revenues, lost traffic, lost customers, road closures. It was kind of a shock to everybody. So in December,
let me stop you there for a second, because when you're talking about shutting down the strip, there's also the larger area around the strip.
Yeah.
It's all drastically affected that people may not realize. You're thinking, oh, it's the strip. People can still get to the hotels. No. There are a lot of businesses around the strip who've lost a tremendous amount of revenue. That's what people need to understand.
Yeah. And if you don't live here and you think of Las Vegas Strip, there are cross streets that go east and west all up and down the strip. Tropicana, Flamingo, Spring Mountain Road, Desert Inn. So all of these roads were also impacted. And so you really, couldn't get around to anywhere. And they put in this bridge, I call it the bridge to bankruptcy, on Flamingo. That was a 4-lane bridge that blocked off all the east-west traffic along Flamingo. And those businesses that relied on the public roads, remember, F1 is shutting down public roads. These roads belong to the county, they belong to the taxpayer, and they were shutting them down and blocking access. So after that race, several businesses came forward and said, I lost, the 5 people I represent, an estimated upwards of $30 million was lost over that period of time. And so we started speaking out. We went to the county commission, we started getting press, and we actually, 4 of those businesses have sued. We're in a lawsuit, and 1 more business is pending a lawsuit possibly this week, because you can't let a private company come in and let our government, the Clark County commissioners, allow them to close lanes of traffic, to close, certain lanes. Remember, the 3.2 mile track, which includes a strip and Koval and Flamingo and Harmon, is now going to be shut down starting Thursday through Saturday. So we started coming out asking F1 to reimburse these companies, reimburse anybody that lost money. If you made all this money you said you made, which really was over exaggerated, pay us back, reimbursement us.
Right.
And they said no, basically flat No. So we are heading into 2024 because they didn't have to. They didn't have to pave the track. It's been shut down for about 38 days, off and on. Traffic closed, the strip lane closed. But more importantly, the businesses that I represent are still having their driveways blocked, access blocked. And let me tell you, I say that Las Vegas residents have F1 PTSD because nobody wants to go near the strip right now.
I wouldn't chance it because I don't know which streets are closed down. You do, you're down there. I won't go near anything near there. If someone said, let's go, so they're very nice off-strip restaurants, even if I didn't want to go to a hotel, very nice ones. Many of them cater to the, the conventioneers and whatnot. Some other ones you represent, others do not, but they're great restaurants either way. The heck with that. I'm not going near it. That's what a lot of people are saying right now.
Yeah. And, look at Gino Ferraro's, Ferraro's, a world famous Italian restaurant.
Great restaurant.
People come in town, want to go to, and he's struggling. There's no Uber drivers. It's taking hours. People make a 7:00 reservation. They're showing up at 8:30. That backs up the whole restaurant. People are canceling. It's a mess.
Let's talk about the Uber drivers for a second too, because you're reminding me of something I was reading about. That is a big deal because even the Uber drivers say, "No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to deal with this."
Nope. I'm trying to pull together Uber drivers this week to go on our local television to say why they're not working this week, why they decided to take the week off. And if Uber drivers are not working, the people that are coming in for F1, I'm not sure how they're going to get around to the various locations if you've got, less Uber drivers. But, there's more to it than that. I have a petition up online at change.org, basically stop F1 from closing down the strip. If they want to race in Las Vegas, do what you do in Miami and Austin, lodge in the city and race in the desert. In Austin, Texas, you go to the race, you drive 34 minutes out of town, you watch the race, you come back for dinner. The roads are all open. Every business has an equal, free market opportunity to raise money with those people because they're not being shut off from, the public roadways. Right. So, but think about the people that constantly say I have to leave an hour extra to get to work. It takes me an hour extra to get home. If you're a family, a single mom or whatever, that's an hour extra babysitter, hour extra childcare, and nobody's reimbursing them for that. And this has been going on for 30 days. Now, F1 will say, we have a website, and you can go to the website and you can look at the closures and you can plan your trip to go to work or go downtown. But it changes constantly. At one time, one lane of traffic is blocked. Now Koval's blocked off. It changes all the time. I don't know about you. I raised 5 kids as a full-time working mom. I did not have time in the morning to make lunch, get my kids ready, get myself ready, and then go on the F1 website and say, okay, now what different route am I going to take to work today? It's ridiculous. And F1 acts like, oh, we're just doing all this because we put up this website that makes no sense and I don't believe anybody has time to use.
No, and the first time they did this, everybody was upset because they chopped down, just to give people an example, okay, what goes on here. If you've been to Vegas, if you've been to Bellagio, if you don't know what Bellagio is, that's where Bruno Mars rode his jet ski, okay, in the fall at Bellagio. All right, beautiful, beautiful hotel. Well, all those trees, I don't remember if you can see them in the 24-karat video. All those trees in front of the Bellagio that used to line the strip there, all got chopped down so they could put up the risers. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that these are mature trees. And these are the kind of things that drove people crazy. And I agree with you. Why can't they do them? Why can't they do it at the racetrack we already have? I know it's a different kind of racing, not an expert on this, or somewhere near there. I don't understand why they couldn't do that. It would take them probably less time to build something out there than trying to retrofit everything in Vegas, seems to me.
Yeah, well, when Liberty Media purchased F1, if you go back and look at all their PR, their business model, we're going to race in the heart of cities. We're going to race on the Las Vegas Strip and through the financial district in Chicago and on Fifth Avenue in New York. and all this. And that is just like putting a square peg in a round hole. It doesn't work. It won't work in Chicago. It won't work in New York. It doesn't work to shut down and change people's daily patterns. You know, people on the Strip are daily patterns. The other day, David Sachs and Siegel, both who have shows on the Strip, were in the newspaper saying that some of their entertainers are sleeping at the studio because they don't want to have to try to get home and try to get back in time and be late for a show and all the stress and anxiety. So they're sleeping at the show. Some of the shows are having to cancel. Some of them are start time and other times are different. There's no way this is fair or just or anything to the people that make Las Vegas what it is, all 362 days a year, and for 3 days or 30 months, F1 comes here, and they basically think they own our town. I will tell you. And we've tried to meet with them. I have, as you know, I've been in the press, national press, trying to get somebody to understand you need to reimburse these people, and you need to stop stopping our community. And they're completely dismissive. I've not met with F1 personally. They did meet with some of our business owners in June and basically told them, we're still putting up the bridge to bankruptcy, only 2 lanes instead of 4, hasn't made that much of a difference, very little difference. And they're extremely dismissive, and we don't matter. All that matters is F1. And, you know, Heidi, as most people listening to your show, they have local governments. And we expect our local government, in our case, the Clark County Commissioners, to stand up for their constituents, to stand up for small business. I mean, small business is 85% of the economy in Las Vegas, in Nevada. 85% of the economy are small businesses. And bars are suffering here, nail salons, liquor stores, souvenir stores, restaurants, all these are suffering. The shows are suffering because of this event. And our local government, the Clark County Commissioners, have done nothing. They're not transparent about it. They have not stepped forward and held a public meeting. They wouldn't disclose the traffic study. And after we got a hold of the traffic study, I understand why, because it was completely in favor of F1. They haven't been transparent at all with how this event gets approved and why the public has no say in it.
Yeah, and as you mentioned too, besides the fact that, you know, these people have made this decision without public input, they don't care about the input. We're talking about businesses who, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's a minor inconvenience. But then when the actual race happens, you'll make all this extra money. No, you won't, because people can't even get to your business while this nonsense is here, while these things are being erected. That's what people keep forgetting.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, it's that buildup time. And then, and to add, rub salt in the wound, they don't take these structures down till weeks and weeks after the race is over. You know, if the race is here Saturday, if they took all the structures down on Sunday and you're back to normal Monday, it would be, you know, less of a loss. But they don't take some of these structures down, the bridge to bankruptcy, till right before Christmas. Yeah. And if you can believe it or not, one of the reasons they don't want to take down the structures is they don't want to impact NFR, which is another big event that we have in Las Vegas during December. But
which, for those who don't know, National Finals Rodeo, we love the Cowboys. We're happy to have them every year. They don't disrupt. They come to town. They spend a lot of money. They behave themselves, and we love them. It's different because they have an arena that they transform for their event. They're not destroying the entire town. They're adding to the town.
They add to the town. We all start wearing Western wear. It's wonderful, but they're not going to take down some of the bridge to bankruptcy and some of these because they don't want to disrupt NFR, which means my businesses and those businesses already cut off won't benefit from NFR. Because if these people can't get there, those people aren't going to be able to get there. So not only do they miss out for 35 days, they miss out on the F1 weekend, and now they're going to be impacted into NFR. So it's the F1 is the gift that keeps on giving,
Now,
in a
that's a
really
terrible
bad
thing.
way.
People should know that also about Vegas. Traditionally, that's been a very slow time for conventions, November, December, right? And NFR has always come in, and for the years that it's been here, which has been many decades now, they have saved us financially in December. They saved a lot of businesses. They have the Cowboy Christmas that comes to town in various locations and all kinds of things. So your point, it's important for people to understand, if you're a small business and December is generally slow in Vegas, and this was your big week, NFR, and now you can't benefit from that either. I mean, this is a double whammy.
It's a double whammy. It's you almost, I say sometimes, you couldn't script this to be,
Right.
any more intrusive and any more inconvenient. And, there's anxiety that goes with this. And here's the real rub, and I'm sure that your listeners, there's hundreds of small business owners out there. I'm a small business owner. You're a small business owner. And imagine being a gas station and convenience store, and you rely on in and out traffic from two driveways. And you sit there and watch nobody able to get into the gas stations, nobody to enter your project, and there's nothing you can do about it. As a small business owner, for me, if my business is down, I market more, or I change my messaging, or I do something on LinkedIn, or I can try to change it. There's nothing Wade Bond can do at Jay's Market to change it. He has a massive structure on his driveway to the east, and people still can't get in on the Flamingo side to the south. And he has to sit there and watch his business decline by almost 65%. And there's nothing he can do about it.
That is just terrible. So
Terrible.
this is that we were originally supposed to do is just 1 year or 2 years. Where are we now in the contract?
No, they have a 3-year. It's a 10-year contract, potential 10-year contract. Okay. We're in the second year of a 3-year contract, but there is no contract. That's the thing. And even our chairman of our county commissioners, I was able to obtain an LOI, a letter of interest. Nobody's been able to find the contract. We've asked for it. We've asked it to be turned over. I don't think there is a contract. There is a letter, an LOI, which is convenient, because LOIs are not enforceable legally. You can't enforce it. That's not a contract. And even if there were, and we could find a 3-year contract, we're into the second year. It makes no sense to do this again. And all contracts have a termination clause. Every contract has a way out, whether it's a 30-day notice or whatever. And people say, well, F1 will sue the county, they'll sue. Well, we're suing them to be reimbursed. And I think there's enough evidence that this has been so damaging to the community that they shouldn't be able to do this anyway. Our own special event permitting laws, Heidi, say that if an event, when it comes back the next year to be reconsidered, negatively impacted the community, had a negative impact on the quality of life, any negative impact, that special event does not have to be reapproved. You do not have to approve that special event.
But here's the thing, if there's no contract, they can't sue.
Yeah.
If they sue and they say, oh, we're going to sue you, you'll say, well, we just decided we're not going to have you back next year. And then somebody's going to have to produce a contract if indeed there is one. And if there's not, then bye-bye, right? I mean, I would assume.
Yeah. I have the letter of interest. I was able to get it through a FOIA, but and our chairman of our county commission, which is a very powerful position in Southern Nevada and in Las Vegas, and who was a lawyer, said, we never saw a contract. And that story was squelched immediately. Like, nobody's supposed to talk about the contract. But I would love to see the contract. I do have a copy of the LOI. I'd be happy to share it with you if you want to share it, that people can look at it. It's not a contract.
I'll post it. I'll post it up here in the description. This is fascinating. Well, I guess so. At the end of this, and there are various people coming out who are talking about how much money it makes us and all. And then the media, the local media. Okay, I don't want to rag on them, but I will. Just lap dogs, cheerleaders for this whole thing. And sometimes I feel like there are very few WASPs at the picnic. I think you and I are some of the two in town who go, wait a minute, this doesn't sound like a good idea, but everybody else is cheering whatever it is without asking any questions. And I'm so glad that you're doing for your clients, standing up to them. Now, after this is over this time, is there going to be any kind of reevaluation or discussion about going forward, anything like that?
Yes. So what I think, the first Clark County meeting is December 4th after the event. So I am going to I've been in touch with all the different groups that I want between Monday the 25th and December 4th. Give me all the information, how you suffered. We have video of all this intrusion. We've taken video of everything. We have pictures.
And I'm going to insert some of that in here. I'll put the pictures of some of the video clips.
Yeah,
in this.
I'll give you some of that. We're going to get a large group of people on December 4th to go and to say, and public comment, it didn't work. It didn't work again. And I think there's going to be a lot more scrutiny on the LVCV and F1's economic impact analysis, because I have a degree in economics and I was an economist. True economic impact has to consider the losses, has to consider the negative impacts.
Depends on who you're asking to do the numbers, Lisa. I'm not mentioning any names, but depends on who you're having to do the numbers, who will make the numbers sound anyway they want them to sound. But you're right. Economic, you can say, oh, look how much we benefited from it. But wait a minute, how much are people losing?
How much lose? And what you have to include in there are the things like the places that had less. Look at the Stage Door Casino I represent, little tiny casino right on Flamingo and the Strip. Caters to locals, caters to the industry here, after hour entertainers and workers, and they can't get there. And their business is down. And every single one of those waitresses and bartenders and dealers and everybody have lost tips over these 35 days. Who's going to reimburse them? The people that have to leave to work an hour early, get home an hour late, who reimburses them for that cost? Uber drivers that missed a week of work. I mean, you can get down into the microeconomics of this, and I think prove that it has no upside. And, they say, well, we're bringing 145,000 visitors to Las Vegas. You're displacing 145,000 visitors that normally would be here, that are coming in. And I'm glad 145,000 people are here. Come, spend money in the casino. Go to Gino Ferraro's and get the best Italian food you've ever had. Go to Batista's, get gas at Chase Market. But don't shut down the Strip and go race outside, of our community. Steve Hill, who's the CEO of the Las Vegas Visitor Convention Authority, who brings them here as a big cheerleader. I asked him in a public meeting, I said, race in the desert. He goes, F1 spent $700 million on their paddock and on their land, and they're going to race here. I said, look, with every investment, there's a risk. You buy a house, it's a risk. Right. You buy a new business. They they're a $17 billion business, $700 million that they put into that. You risked it. It's not working, but you can still party there, have a huge event there during race week, and then drive, 25 minutes out of town and race. Right.
They should have spent that money on a track.
Exactly.
With a decent facility, they could have done that, but you can't get the LVCVA to question this nonsense.
Exactly.
They're not going to do. Well, I offer Boulder Highway for them. They can race down Boulder Highway if they want to, but I get your point. They should do it out of town. We have lots of ways to transport people to it. Mm-hmm. It could be a heck of an event and not as disruptive. And whoopee-doo, we're getting 150,000 people. That's called Friday in Vegas. Every week we get 100, 200, 300,000 people in every week. We don't have to work that hard at it, kids. So give me a break.
No, that's the thing. And they made a big deal last year that they said, we got 1.5 billion impressions. And between last year and this year, our overall visitor volume has not increased. We're still at 40 million. So where's the payback on those impressions? I think the LVCVA should have to show us in numbers, in a very detailed report, you spent and shut down our city, caused all this angst for 1 billion impressions. How many impressions actually equated to heads in beds? And my guess, it's probably a very, very, very small number.
Right. And the rooms rates have dropped this year considerably.
And 73% down. Room rates are down 73%. They're trying all sorts of, things to try to bring the local community more into this. Henderson is sponsoring some F1 event on Water Street, and they're having a F1 $17 ticket for your kid to fight the traffic, to go to the Children's Museum downtown to see something for F1. When those parents get on the freeway and they're headed to downtown and they realize they can't go anywhere, they're going to turn back around. I would love for locals literally to boycott F1 this week. Just don't participate. Send a message that we support our small businesses. We're a great community. We're a community that's been good to a lot of people. And if a stagehand is sleeping and being away from their family and their home because of F1, if people are having to take a different bus route, if businesses are watching their business go down, and the biggest part of Gino and all this is their employees, because when they don't have customers,
you don't know, that's Gino Ferraro.
Their employees suffer. Yeah,
yes, they do.
We're a tip community. We're a community where a lot of our people, their income is made from gratuity because they do a great job. The culinary union doesn't even like this, and people don't realize the first person you see and the last person you see when you come to Las Vegas is usually a culinary worker in some way. They're the face of this community, this strip in many ways, and they're getting hurt from this.
Everybody is. And not only that, when they first did the track the last time, as I recall, correct me if I'm wrong on the year, but some freaking pothole flew up and caused a wreck. I mean, if I'm a race car driver, I'm not going to want to drive. I'm saying, well, you guys don't even know how to do this right. That's dangerous. And God forbid something like that were to happen where somebody were to get killed in town. That would be, obviously nobody wants that. But I don't know that these people are even competent enough to do the track correctly. I don't know.
And here's the other thing. Remember, they put all those bridges in. So now instead of walking on the strip, they encourage you to go over these bridges. Right. And when you're on those bridges, the view of the strip is beautiful. You get to see, if you're at Flamingo, you see Bellagio, you see the Link, you see all this. You want to take pictures. Well, guess what? They're all blocked off. God forbid you should see a minute of this race for free. If you're sitting at a restaurant that's on the track, you have to pay a huge amount of money. The restaurant has to pay a licensing fee. You have to, so you blocked off the view of the strip for a week or more than a week, 10 days before your race. So if you were here for a wedding or something outside of F1 and you're on the bridge and you want a picture of the beautiful Las Vegas, you have a concrete wall.
The good news is there were no homeless on the bridges now. So that's an upside.
Yeah, that is an upside.
It's not all bad news.
But look, if you want to, and let's just say this scenario, you could come in town, set up on Thursday, set up on Friday, race Saturday and out Sunday, and you're only 3 days, that would even be more tolerable. I think you could tolerate 3 days, but this has been 40 days of disruption. And if you don't think they're going to have to resurface that track with all the traffic, of course, it's year 4. We have to be down for 9 months again. We got to resurface the track. My husband used to work at the Las Vegas Speedway. He'll tell you what track maintenance is and what racing maintenance is. Those cars rip up that asphalt and then you drive cars on it. They'll absolutely have to resurface that at some point. But I'm hoping and praying that that our community comes together, that our 7 Clark County commissioners realize that their job is to protect the constituents of this community, not the largest foreign sports company in the world, F1, to take over our streets. And look, if you want to take over our streets, okay, you got to pay $400 million to do that. whatever the number is. And then that $400 million is where people can go back and get reimbursed.
That's right.
Oh, you're going to lose $1.5 million. We'll pay for the $1.5 million. You're going to lose money, and start, a reimbursement fund for the
They should
people
put that in escrow. They should put that in escrow before they even start. And that way, and then people can go and apply later on with their books and say, this is how much money I made on a typical Friday night. This is how much money I've lost as a result of all this construction. And a restaurant like Ferraro's, which has a very long track record, could most certainly do that. Anyone could do that.
Well, that's the other thing. These 5 businesses suing aren't just like some business that popped up 5 years ago.
Right.
The Ellis Island Casino is a family-owned casino in Las Vegas for over 30 years. Gino Ferraro,
that's like that big karaoke bar in town.
Yeah. Gino Ferraro has been in business in this town for over 40 years. Jay's Market, 15 years in business on that corner. Batista's is a 50-year-old business. The Stage Door has been there for 25 years. These aren't just little pop-up, businesses that said, oh, I'm losing. These are icons in our community, and those business owners have given so much back to this community by way of being philanthropic, community, supporting jobs. Imagine how many jobs they've created, and have had employees for years and years that work with them. You're intruding on legacy and history of Las Vegas, and it's unacceptable. Unacceptable.
Absolutely. All right. Well, listen, Lisa, great talking to you. You stay on it.
Heidi, you've always been the voice of the truth in this community. When I first moved here, I used to listen to you on the radio every morning, and you're always telling the truth and not afraid to. And that's what we need. And I so thank you for it. And thank you for letting us talk about F1.
Well, listen, I love my hometown. Okay. You love Vegas. I'm just trying to stick up for the little guy, because God knows the county commission ain't doing it. So
no, I agree with you 100%. Thank you so much, and have a great week.
All right. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.